Hello everyone, welcome back. This is lesson 3 of our CorelDraw 9 by National Sportswear, and my name is Duncan Benedict. I will be running the tutorial as previously. If you haven't seen lesson 1 or 2, I highly recommend that you watch them before watching this. But again, it's not entirely necessary, but it's good if you want to learn the entire program. So we left off in lesson 2. We had saved our work environment. So what we're going to do now for all of you who've returned is go to File and do an Open this time. We're not going to do New. We've covered that. Now we're going to Open. So we're going to click Open, go to where you've saved your lesson 2 file in a directory, wherever that may be, and choose the lesson 2 CDR and then choose Open, and your work environment is there all set up for you. As you notice, it's custom 12 inches by 12 inches. It's in the inch format, and we have our rulers. Now I mentioned in the last lesson I'm going to be teaching you a technique that I use. It's very rare, not many people use it, but it's a very handy technique to use. Now I don't know if I can cover the entire setup in this lesson. If I don't, then we will carry it into lesson 4, because you really need to have a good understanding of how this is going to work. The idea of these lessons first are to teach you how to turn bitmaps into bitmaps and JPEGs, things you might get off Google, Google Images, Yahoo Images, whatever, wherever you get them is irrelevant. But the idea is we're going to convert them into postscript format, so you have an actual postscript drawing that you can scale up as large as you want, as small as you want, and you will never lose the resolution. That is the beauty of postscript. I stress it: postscript, postscript, postscript. So this is what we're going to do. I taught you the save, the open, the new. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start using import. So assuming you went to Google and you found an image you liked, you're going to bring it into CorelDraw. So you can choose this icon here, which is the import. There's also an export, but because there's nothing on our workspace, it's going to be in gray because there's absolutely nothing to export yet. So you can use this import button. If it's not on your screen, you can go to File and scroll down till you see import and choose import, or you can use Control I. Go to the folder wherever you saved a bitmap or a JPEG and choose it. And in this case, I picked this little dog I found off Google, as it's a good example. So we're going to choose a bitmap. We choose import. Some things you can find, file types that you're allowed to import. This second menu down here, drop down menu, will show you all the different files that you're allowed to import into CorelDraw. And you can see it has a pretty extensive one. So if it's not going to import, it's going to tell you. So let's go ahead and import it. And when you click the import, and you will see this little, looks like a picture frame shows up, and the name of the bitmap right underneath it. You'll see dog.bitmap. You can either do two things. You can click and drag, or you can just click. If you click, the original size shows up, whatever size it was. If it's huge, it'll go off the screen. Or you can just control it by clicking, holding your left mouse button down and dragging it down. Notice the picture frame changed to the bottom right, because that's basically, it's telling you that's the last step. So as soon as you release, there it is. Okay, so you have your image. This is an image we're going to trace out. Cute little dog. I scaled it to the size of my workspace. Now the reason for this method is a lot of people, if you notice, there are these 8, looks like 9, but I believe it's 8 little square handles, little square boxes in each corner and on the side. These are scaling handles. If you click any of the corner ones, it scales like this. Okay, you can scale it proportionately. Click the top or the bottom, will squish it, scale it in that direction. Right side scales it in that direction. Okay, when I'm working with customers' artwork, I always use these top, the corner ones, because proportionate, if you're I've done work for Coca-Cola, New Balance, a lot of big companies, and the last thing they want to see is some cockeyed looking logo that, they've been promoting with millions of dollars for years, and then someone comes along and totally distorts it and destroys it, and quite honestly, they don't like it. So if you want to be professional, you got to be professional. So these are the ones you use. Everything proportionate. Try to stick to that idea when someone gives you artwork. You don't want to throw it out of whack. So when the item is selected or you click on it, you'll see these handles show up, and when you click off to the side, they don't show up. Well, in the tracing idea of where we're going to take this bitmap, let me zoom in. Over to the left are some of your tools. If you go the third one down, presumably yours are the same as mine, you can move the mouse over, you'll see zoom tool. Click on that, and then click the left mouse button and hold it down and just drag a little part like I'm doing, just like that, and then let go. Now, when you zoom into a bitmap, you'll see all these little gray, let me click this, you'll see all these little gray spots here. All these along here, down here, you'll see all these little gray edges. That's what bitmaps do. You cannot get an accurate drawing regardless of what people tell you. You'll hear it from everyone. Oh, why doesn't this work? Why doesn't that work? Well, honestly, when you get further deeper into this, you're going to see the reasoning, the method behind my madness. These pixelated grayscale edges are fuzzy. When you start getting involved in color separation, knockouts, filling colors, that's the last thing you want to have to deal with, because that is just going to make a mess. It's gonna, if you're printing on t-shirts, this is gonna leave a big white line. You have no way of judging your trapping. I'll get into that later, where some colors need to overlap other colors, like black on light colors, so they're covered underneath it, and so on. So that's a printer's nightmare, and every printer gets it. So we're going to get away from that. So use your zoom tool. Once you choose it, you can hit your shift key, hold it down, and the minus symbol comes out. That's your zoom out, and you can just click that. Another thing you can do is when you hit these tools, like I showed before, whenever you select something up on the top of the screen, you will see all the different options you have. So for the zoom tool, these are all your options. So I'll give you an example. We'll take this key here, will zoom to all objects. So if you have objects on the screen, there it zooms to it. This one here zooms to your workspace or your page. It'll zoom out so that you can see it on the screen. That's what these are all for. One-to-one, that's what it looks one-to-one in real life. Your graphics and your picture. So those are quick sets, which really helps a lot when you're working. So now our next step is we've brought this image in. So go ahead for now and hit File and Save. Okay, and that's your lesson 2 saved. Actually, I'm sorry, let's go back and go File, Save As, and go up, make a folder. Okay, and we'll call it New Folder and call it lesson space 3. Okay, this way we're going to keep track. Double click that lesson 3 folder, and in here you can change your lesson 2 to 3. Again, CDR is the extension for CorelDraw, so just click that and hit save, and now you've saved this as your lesson 3. This lesson went on a little longer again because I was explaining all this part, so that's where you're at. In this lesson you learned how to import. Okay, you learned the scaling properties here with the handles, top, bottom, side, and an explanation of why to use at corners, and the save again. And I will see you in lesson 4, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, I guess I couldn't show you my secret here, but I think we'll be able to cover it in the next lesson, which is lesson 4. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to embed this design into your background. That way, when you click it by accident, if you're doing anything, you're not going to have this sort of thing happen. You're like getting annoyed because you're working and you're clicking, and by accident you click the bitmap, and it's moving around your work area and it's driving you totally cuckoo. I see this with artists all the time. People who've worked under me and companies do it. I mean, this is just an ongoing problem, and I'm going to show you how to embed it, and it becomes your part of your canvas working area, and you don't even have to worry about it again. So we'll see you in next lesson, and I'll teach you how to do that. Thanks for watching, and see you in lesson 4.